Tucked between the Atlantic and Indian Oceans, Cape Town lays claim to be the hippest city in South Africa, famous for its beaches and spectacular setting. This is one of the last places you'd expect to find a nuclear black market. I've come here to follow the story of a man named Asher Karni. He's been accused of trafficking nuclear technology to Pakistan. Karni came to South Africa from Israel 20 years ago. He became a respected member of his synagogue, conducting services when Rabbi Jonathan Altman was out of town. What kind of man is he?
A very good man, helpful, a very good leader, and people liked him. He was really their teacher, he was their friend, their mentor in many ways. He would read from the Torah 3 times a week. He would run the services, he would give classes. He was a very mainstay of this community.
What was the response when this man you'd gotten to know well was accused?
It doesn't make sense to me that a man who has children in the land of Israel, right, would sell something that could be used for nuclear arms knowingly, right, to a country that is vocally anti-Israel. You know, when you think it through on that level, that just seems absurd.
It did seem bizarre that an Orthodox Jew would be involved in nuclear smuggling to Pakistan. It all began when Karni took a job at Eagle Technology, a company that sells high-tech electronic equipment to the military and other clients. I went to see Eagle's lawyer, Michael Bagraim.
My reaction to that allegation when I first heard it, and I first read it in a newspaper, was shock and horror that there's an allegation about an Orthodox Jew in South Africa, an Israeli background, selling nuclear triggers to Pakistan, which could be used in the nuclear industry, and I, quite frankly, almost fell off my chair.
Bagraim told me the company had no idea Karni was involved in nuclear smuggling, but they became suspicious of what he was up to.
Asher Karni had been working for them for many years with a background in the industry. He had done training in the Israeli military. He became the most successful agent they had. His employer, Eagle, suspected that he was running a lot of this business for his own account. There was a lot of activity going on, and the sales seemed to be not matching the activity. Asher Karni then started disappearing at lunch hour and odd times during the day, and they wanted to know who he was going to see.
Hey, Philip. Eagle hired a private detective, Philip Reynolds, to investigate further.
I was basically asked to conduct surveillance and investigation on Asher, and in an attempt basically to ascertain what he was up to. He was suspected of doing underhanded deals outside the country, possibly using their company as a front for his operations. It sounded like a bank account or bank accounts had been created and the additional revenue was being left offshore. And in effect, I would say that he's basically defrauding his own company. I did have a note that he was apparently a major in the Israeli army. I do have a photograph over here of Asher Karni over here in my notes, and another picture that I had over here, not the clearest. I think this was the individual as well that was suspected of being involved in some other way with Asher.
That's Marissa Kirsch, an American who'd been the executive secretary to Eagle's president and then was fired. The detective found out she was secretly meeting with Karni.
They would spend an hour, the lunch hour together. He'd hand over notes, they'd give her instructions, she'd take some minutes, and she'd disappear off to go and do her business.
The company also discovered that their former secretary was wanted in the United States for kidnapping her son in violation of a joint custody order. Karni's involvement with Kirsch caused Eagle to dig deeper.
Eagle Technology got suspicious as to what was all this activity, and they went into the computer system to have a look at the emails.
Bagraim told me the emails revealed that Karni was cutting side deals with 2 companies he'd set up, one with Marissa Kirsch.
These electronic components were sourced, a lot of it in America, in the United States, and then in turn sent on to other countries. We also then investigated, and we found that the other countries were India, Israel, and Pakistan. We also discovered that he had opened up bank accounts in both Israel and India, and in particular the one in India was under the name of Eagle Technology, which is very wrong. And that to us was a turning point. It was like having a viper in your bosom. And you couldn't have that viper in the bosom, you had to remove it before it bit you. And we did, we removed him straight away at that point.